welcome everyone to August 2nd Redevelopment Commission. We're going to go ahead and start with roll call. And
Arnie's here.
Okay.
Deborah Meyerson here.
David Walter is here.
Nick Kappas is here. And I believe that's it for now for commissioners. I don't see.
Deb's logging on, hasn't joined us yet.
Okay. City staff.
John Zodi with hand.
Jeff Underwood, Controller Treasurer.
Finley, hand department.
Alex Crowley, Economic and Sustainable Development.
Larry Allen, Legal.
All right, I think that's everyone. So let's go into, before we get into the reading of the minutes, Director Zodi, I believe you have, you wanted to have an amendment to item 6, new business for this agenda, correct?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Members, good evening. I wanted to just revisit our discussion from July 19th and ask that you approve the substantial amendment to our HUD consolidated plan that I mentioned to put the final punctuation on our CDBG COVID money that was approved in a resolution on July 19th. So I can talk more about that as we move to that business item, but I would ask that you consider that tonight so we can get the plan submitted to HUD later tonight.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to add the HUD plan for our review and approval tonight. So
This is David Walter. I'd like to make that motion. We add the HUD plan to our new business.
is there a second?
Cindy Canarney seconds.
Okay. Larry, do we have to do a roll call for this for an agenda item?
Yep, just do the roll call vote just to make sure.
Okay. All right. So let's go through roll call. There has been a motion and a second.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. So the agenda has been for new business has been amended as such. Of course, I just muted myself. All right, moving on to the second item on today's agenda is reading of the minutes of July 19th, 2021. Commissioners, any edits, discussion? If none, then I would entertain a motion for approval of the July 19th minutes.
If I may, Mr. President, we noticed a misspelling of Commissioner Meyerson's name in the minutes before they went out. I apologize for that. Again, Commissioner Meyerson, that's my fault. I think we copied and pasted it and I totally overlooked it. So we have corrected that. And so we would ask that you approve the minutes subject to the change and the correction to Commissioner Meyerson's full name.
I'm sure she'll very much appreciate that.
I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
This is Cindy Canarney. I move approval of the minutes with the change to Deborah's name.
I'll
This is
second that
David.
motion.
Oh, okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's go through roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. Minutes from July 19th with the edits to Commissioner Meyerson's name have been unanimously approved. On to item number 3, examination of claims for July 23rd, 2021, totaling $59,504.53. Any comments or questions for staff on the claims by commissioners? If not, I entertain a motion.
Deb Hutton, so moved to accept the claims of July 23rd, 2021.
David Walter, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the claims from July 23rd, 2021. Roll call.
Cindy Canardi, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. Claims for July 23rd have been unanimously approved. On to item number 4, examination of payroll registers for July 30th, 2021, totaling $32,742.43. Any discussion or comments on the payroll registers? No? If not, then I'll entertain a motion.
Cindy Canardi moves approval of payroll registers for July 30th, 2021.
Deb Hutton, second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and go to roll call.
Cindy Canardi, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. So the payroll registers for July 30th, 2021 have been unanimously approved. On to item 5, report of officers and committees. Let's go ahead and start off with the director's report. Director Zodi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not too much to report tonight, Commissioners. There's a lot going on here. Hot on the agenda item for tonight is our report to HUD, which I'll explain, take you through that. Just to respond to Commissioner Meyerson, she sent an email asking about the HUD plan, how it was publicized. It was publicized in DHT through public notice. So any media outlets in town that receive our public notices would have gotten it there. We talked about it at the July 19th meeting. I understand you were out of town. It was posted in the Indiana room at the library and on the city website and on the library's website. And we also sent out a notice about it being available for comment in our monthly hand newsletter that goes out to neighborhood associations. So publicized it fairly heavily and kept a hard copy up front at the desk here at City Hall as well. So let me know if you have any more questions during the new business if you'd like, Commissioner, but that concludes our report.
Okay, thank you very much, Director Zodi. Legal report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few items. I just want to mention that the Redevelopment Commission met in executive session prior to this meeting at 4:30 to discuss real estate transactions per Indiana Code 514 1.5 6.1. That's something that they're permitted to do. Those conversations are confidential because they do deal with ongoing real estate matters. I will also point out, as you notice, we're still meeting by Zoom. The governor renewed his emergency declaration executive order for the month of August, and under the new statute for meetings, that does allow us to meet entirely virtually. We'll try to keep you up to date. We've been receiving notice. This time we got notice almost 2 days before he renewed the executive order, so we're doing better. That was better than time the day of or a few hours before. So as we get the information, we'll try to share that with you all, just in how we're meeting and how we're getting that out. There were also 2 repairs that were done. As you will maybe recall, in January, we passed a resolution to allow for repairs to RDC-owned properties out of the 444 account or the maintenance account. We've had to use that account twice in the intervening time. One was for repair to 627 North Morton Street. That building had skylights on it. The skylights themselves had failed. I don't know if you'll recall, but we had actually replaced the roof there fairly recently. So we know that the flashing was good around the skylights, and the actual shingles themselves are good, but the skylights, the seals within the skylights had failed. So the cheaper and more effective option was actually to remove the skylights. That was approximately $1,500 allowable under that resolution, the repair resolution. So just wanted to make you aware of that. The second repair, I don't know if the second repair has been done yet, but there is a window broken on the back side of College Square facing the Beeline trail. For repair of that, it's approximately $869, not approximately, exactly $869.31 for that particular repair. We also asked some questions of our property manager, just trying to get a sense of how that was broken, when we think it was broken, and whether we have any evidence that it was broken by an individual or if it was some other act that we need to be aware of, if there's some other natural defect with the windows or something that's happening. I think our best educated guess at the moment is that it may have been broken by an individual, which was common along that area downtown recently. And I did just want to give you a quick update to the fact that we uploaded, thank you to Christina Finley, you were fantastic administrative and financial person who uploaded the economic development plan to the website. We're going to be talking to IT department about getting it reformatted so it's a little bit clearer to the public about when that was published. But I just want to let you know that that is up on the website, which was requested by commissioners.
So question,
That is a fantastic report.
question?
Go ahead, Deb.
Oh, okay. So Larry, with this removing skylights, singular or plural, did you then roof over the hole that was left behind and just plywood it and shingle it over?
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. So the skylights, to my understanding, it was the same roofing company that did the re-roof job. They were able to assess the problem, assess what needed to be done. They were able to lay the substructure down, so the plywood over the holes, and then affix shingles over those areas. The skylights really weren't adding much to the property. We don't think it actually changes the experience or the value of the property. In fact, it probably makes it better because we've had some problems with leakage in that roof for some time. And so to get rid of this problem, it's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Any other questions for Larry? Okay. Let's move on to treasurer's report.
No report. Happy to answer any questions.
I do have one question in regards to the Bungers Robertson building and the fire department. The only reason I bring that up is because you've been my main point of contact. So I know that we were going to work through some right of use, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe Larry can speak to that. I believe we had a right of entry / use.
We did. So the last meeting, you all approved the right of entry.
Is that what that was?
For the, there's a structure that's going to go over the fire truck. And so that was the right of entry for that as well.
Okay, so it was just for the temporary structure for the fire. Okay, that's what that was for. I was thinking for the building in addition to. So I appreciate that.
I will tell you, for the building itself, we are evaluating what's going to be the best way to handle that particular agreement. So whether there would be an opportunity for funding or not, and what the fire department, what their needs are going to be. So that's something that's still being looked into.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks, Jeff. All right. And lastly, business development updates.
Hi, Alex Crowley, Economic Sustainable Development. Just a couple of small things. One is not small. We're waiting for the Economic Development Administration to make a determination as to the grant that we applied for. You may recall we applied for a significant grant from them. And there's been some back and forth recently about some questions. They seem to be hopefully tying up some loose ends in the application. I am not counting any chickens before they hatch, but we are hoping that we will be hearing from them shortly, maybe even within the month. So that's out there. And then the only other items that we're tracking, other than what's already been discussed, is really the commercial space leasing that would happen in both the Trades District garage and the 4th Street garage, and we're getting some interest on that. You may recall we have 2 different brokers working, each one respectively, and so that we are constantly, evaluating interest and trying to sort out what will happen with those spaces.
Any questions for Alex, commissioners? All right, well, thank you very much for that update. All right, so we're going to be moving on to item 6, new business. So first item on today's agenda is resolution 21-41, approval of change order number 10 for West 17th Street construction project. Who is up for that?
Good evening, Matt Smothers with the Engineering Department. Change order 10 would adjust the contract amount for overruns and underruns on several unit prices on the contract. The two main items that overran were asphalt paving and curb and gutter. We added additional areas for paving and curb during the project that's partially responsible for these overages, and as well as estimated quantities were a little bit low for those items. Change order would also include an adjustment for an increase in the cost of bonding. The change order would result in an increase to a contract of $56,760.11. The Board of Public Works will also review this change order and will seek their approval. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, any questions?
Is it a stupid question to ask since I'm new? Is it a stupid question to ask? Excuse me. Do you think that these changes and overages are reasonable? That if they're reasonable given the kind of project that they're part of, asphalt, curbs, whatever.
Right. Yeah. As it's stated, it's an estimate on the original amounts. So when you get into the field, they're never going to be exact. And like the main items that we went over on, we have a good understanding of why we went over on those items.
Okay.
And we have a inspector that's on site whenever the contractor is on site that measures everything that the contractor does. So, we keep a pretty good track of all the amounts. So.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank
you. Okay, no other. I do have a question. So we usually like to have a 5% buffer, right, for these projects?
5 to 10% is the normal, what we're looking at. We try to keep it as low as possible, obviously, but the 5 to 10% is kind of a normal range.
Okay. So do you anticipate any more? Is this end of project for 17th Street? I feel like we talked about 17th Street a little bit.
Yes.
Too much.
Yes. This is the last change order for 17th Street, other than there will be liquidated damages against the contractor for not completing the project on time. And I believe that requires a change order also, but that will be a change order in our favor. So.
Well, because just taking a look here, it looks like, we went 14% over.
Right.
And, if we're getting liquidated damages back, that can bring that back within our normal tolerance, then that's fine. But just something to consider, we were a little bit over our usual amount.
Yeah, there were several unique circumstances on this project that pushed us over and that we don't usually encounter. And we've done several projects since then where we were well below our averages. So this was just kind of the outlier, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, 17th Street. Yeah. It's always got to be that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, any other questions, commissioners? If not, any questions from the public? Not seeing any. So let's go ahead and I will entertain a motion for resolution 21-41.
Oh, this is David Walter. I'll make a motion that we accept the change orders in resolution 21-41.
Cindy Canarney seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and go to roll call.
Cindy Canarney, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. Resolution 21-41 was unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Now on to, yep, no problem. Great work. And now on to our second item of the day, which is Director Zodi's amendment for the HUD plan, which includes recently the approved amounts for the COVID-19 allocations. So Director Zodi.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just to bring you all up to speed, as you recall, on July 19th, you approved a resolution that included $660,000 of the change of COVID CDBG funding recommendations to 9 local organizations. We had 14 applicants totaling $1.3 million in requests. We had $660,000 to give out based on 2 separate rounds of COVID money. Those were reviewed by a scoring committee, recommended to you in the resolution. And the final step here was to compile those projects into our 4-year consolidated plan for HUD. And that basically is the 250-page document that we submitted last year in 2020 that goes through 2024, which outlines all the goals and activities of our department when we receive and what we're going to do with our HUD money. And so these projects, the 9 of those were included in the what's called a substantial amendment in any public participation process for our citizens was also put in that substantial amendment, and that was put out for public comment for 5 days from July 22nd through July 27th. That ended last week, and as I mentioned during my report, there was a copy of the plan on our city website, on the library website, also hard copies at both places, and it was announced through proper public notice activity. We received 1 public comment, and it was mostly in regard to the formatting and the large amount of content that is involved in the plan. I could pull up the database for you, and it's about 30 sections that you have to approve or that you have to include, and you probably have all seen one of these before, but we've received no substantial feedback on the project recommendations, just about the report itself, just with the formatting and goals and things like that and how they're arranged. So I'm happy to say that in their absence of public comment, the community stands in support of the projects that we have awarded for the $660,000. And I bring it to you tonight here at a public meeting for your final recommendation. What I'm asking you to consider is to approve the substantially amended plan, which we will submit to HUD tonight. It's all ready to go. The only thing to add would be any public comment we receive tonight at this meeting, and then I'll hit send, and then that has to be approved in short order by HUD. All of this has to be into HUD by August 16th, but we have another report that has to be done, and that can't be done until this one is approved. And so we're trying to get all this done and all the paperwork settled for HUD. So I appreciate your support of this on July 19th and would ask for your final sign off this evening. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zodi. All right, to the commission, any questions? I think you left them speechless. All right, not hearing any, I'll go to the public for any comments on the plan as reported out by Director Zodi. I'm not seeing any hands or anyone wanting to talk, nothing in the chat. So back to the commission, any last comments or questions? No, seeing no from Cindy there. So I will then entertain a motion on this item. And, Director Zodi, if you want to reiterate what you're asking for again, I think that might help.
Sure. This would be, if you'll entertain a motion to approve the substantial amendment to the 2020-2024 City of Bloomington Consolidated Plan to reflect the CDBG COVID dollars that we are recommending being funded. And I've asked just sort of how this will be put into writing. We believe that because you approved the resolution on July 19th with the funding recommendations, that the minutes will suffice as documentation that you approved that. So Christina and I have discussed maybe write all that down in the minutes, but that would what be the motion would be to approve the substantial amendment.
Deb Hutton, I'll so move what John said. without.
Deborah Meyerson, I'll second.
Go ahead.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and go to roll call.
Cindy Canardi, yes.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Nick Kappas, yes. All right. The motion has passed unanimously. And that concludes tonight's new business. On to item 7, which is business general discussion. Anything for good of the order?
This is David Walter. As I understand it, then our next meeting will still be a Zoom meeting and not live in person.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Well, fun times had by all. We'll keep on with this norm that we have. I can't wait to actually be in the same room with everyone. That would be fun. But until then, we'll keep on doing this, and I think it's been working pretty well. So I want to say, thanks to everyone for all their hard work on, on all these reports going out. It's and on the change order in 17th Street, I feel like it's come up every month, but it's good to see final progress. So with that, I would move to item, unless there's someone else that has anything good for the order. If not, I'll move to item 8, which is adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 Good night,
All
everyone.
right.
Night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.